never met. Larry, I like your comment about my status during the meeting.
That's confidential, you know.
Okay.
It is. Yep.
Morning. I ask you to please rise for opening prayer and pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we celebrate another day you've granted us. We assemble today to conduct the business of the county, and we pray for wisdom and clarity. May we engage in meaningful discussion that provides a sense of unity in our community. Father, we remember next Sunday as Gold Stars, Mothers and Fathers Family Day. We remember those who have lost a son or daughter in the service of our country. Comfort those who have lost these precious heroes, protecting our freedoms in the service of our country. Lord, we just celebrated the birthday of the United States Constitution. Those men and women took that solemn oath to honor and defend that 233-year-old document that stands for our freedoms. They had the courage to defend one of the greatest gifts, our Constitution, with our freedoms outlined so eloquently. Lord, we pray for those that choose to take our freedoms for granted. May they awaken with the clarity of the true freedoms we have under your care and guidance. Let them be observant to the millions in the world that want into our great land due to the oppression and lack of hope in their native land. Father, we are a rich and blessed country. We are at a crossroads with great division. We need your unification as a community, a state, and a nation to sustain us through these turbulent times. We pray for the leadership throughout each township, borough, city, and county. Provide your wisdom for sound and productive decisions that are your will. We pray for balanced government that will uphold and honor our Constitution. Father, we remember when our forefathers gathered in Philadelphia to draft the Constitution. Ben Franklin referenced Psalms 127:1. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Let us always remember to have you as our foundation in everything we do. Now, Lord, we ask for your hand to be over us in this meeting in the days to come. These things we humbly pray in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting at this time and ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried. And public comment on agenda items only at this time. Anything online?
None online.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on.
Commissioner Nocera is going to read a proclamation. This is for Marcus Crowe from DEP.
Okay. It is an honor to be reading this. A proclamation of appreciation for Marcus Cole. Whereas Marcus Cole began his state government career on September 5th, 2001, and has worked for the Department of Environmental Protection since March 11th, 2002. Whereas in 2012, he was appointed to Regional Director of the North Central Region, serving Lycoming County and 13 other counties. And whereas in 2012, when DEP's budget was limited, Marcus and his entire staff at DEP had the arduous task of keeping Pennsylvania's pristine natural resources clean and safe from the evolving natural gas industry. And whereas Marcus was always willing to walk into the lion's den to tackle difficult compliance issues with our constituents, with understanding and compassion without compromising DEP's mission statement. Now therefore, Lycoming County Board of Commissioners wish to recognize and thank Marcus Cole for his commitment to our environment and sincerely wish you continued health, happiness, prosperity, and success in all of your future endeavors, and set this date of September 21st, 2021 as Marcus Cole Day in Lycoming County. Signed by Commissioner Chairman Scott Metzger, Vice Chair Tony Masser, and Secretary Richard Manergy.
Well, it seems like it was just yesterday when you came, and it's been almost a decade now. And I certainly had the opportunity to work with you when I was in the state legislature, and continue to work with you here as a commissioner. And I certainly appreciate all the things that Commissioner Masser outlined in that certificate of appreciation. You've always been a level voice in DEP for us, and someone who, as the commissioner said, has always entertained compassion and kindness in dealing with constituents on issues that are oftentimes very volatile. So we do want to thank you for that, and we do wish you well, and it's hard to believe you've been with the state for 20 years. But thank you, Marcus, and good luck, and I know that you'll have a good time at American Water.
And I just like to add that there are so many times, you know, it is volatile out there. And whenever you had projects, it's difficult to walk into those meetings and address, you know, the constituents, especially when you know it's your job to protect the environment. You have always done that, and you've always been compassionate as far as, you know, giving a little bit extra time or not finding somebody until they had the right time to, you know, get it done. And it is difficult. So looking back on the 9 years that I remember, you've always been there. You've always been with the people. You've gone wherever you needed to go, and your entire department as well. So we appreciate it, and we do wish you great success here in the near future.
Marcus, thank you for your service, and you know, I guess I'm the one who has least experience with you, but what I've heard is you're the level of reasoning, and you've always been there for the people to, you know, you hear all sides, and you bring everybody together, and we appreciate your service to the state, and best of luck to you in the future.
And this is Marcus Cole Day in Lycoming County. That means you can park anywhere you want.
Of course, you have to pay the tickets.
Don't get too far.
Thank Thank you.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to make some comments? If you'd like,
Yes.
just step up to the podium,
Oh, boy.
because we're
Oh,
live,
yes.
we stream live.
Oh, sure.
Great, thank you.
So to the three of you, I just want to thank you for this honor. It's been a pleasure to be here for 9 years. I've got a tremendous team of 160 folks that work their tails off every day for the residents here, and I'm just thrilled to be able to lead them, and thank you very much for this honor. So greatly appreciate it. I'll miss this opportunity to work with good folks and find solutions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right, right.
We put it on a green background if you want.
I appreciate that.
Let me just take one more. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, accounts payable cash requirements report with Brandy Clemens.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to approve the accounts payable cash requirements report for invoices due through September 29th to be paid on September 22nd in the amount of $867,767.77, which has an increase of $80,410.01 over what's on your report. Planning had an HMGP buyout that is occurring, that they need the check for the closing, so we have to add that in for this week. It's 100% grant funded, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any questions on account payable?
No, we just note that about a third of it is the county general, and about a little over a third is some grants, and then RMS from the revenue down there that's not taxpayer money, it's about a third, so that's good to note.
We're pretty evenly spread this week.
Yeah, we always like it when it's not county general.
That's for sure. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the accounts payable?
I'll move to accept.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
TDA actions with Roxanne Greco.
Morning, Roxanne.
Good morning, Commissioners. We're asking you to approve the following. At RMS and Operations, the creation of 2 equipment operator positions at pay grade 5-6. And in Information Services, the reclassification of 1 network engineer, pay grade 8-9, to 1 PC technician, pay grade 7-8.
Okay, any questions or comments?
So just to note that these positions at RMS are to deal with the dirt across the street from the landfill, the soil which the farm was purchased to be able to put topsoil on top of the waste at night as they build it up, not just at night, but as they do it. And I think we had a quote to move the dirt of something like $7 million. It was a year ago. So the 3 of us determined it was probably more prudent to add these positions. The pay, salary, benefits, healthcare will be paid out of the revenue from the landfill, not from the taxpayers. But it should save us money in the long term.
We have a developer who is very interested in property over there. And it's a 3-year time frame, which would bring hundreds of jobs to the area in addition to what's over there with Digger. So it's, as Commissioner noted, it's either pay the $7 million to move the land over the landfill over that course of time, or hire 2 new people to move the dirt. And in my opinion, it's a no-brainer.
And I should just say, we hadn't, the 3 of us hadn't decided, but the 3 of us had discussed it and came to put it on the agenda for a vote.
Any other comments? Can I have a motion to accept the TDA actions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. So at this time, we'll recess the Commissioners' meeting for the salary board, and we'll convene the salary board this time.
Commissioners, at RMS, the creation of 2 equipment operator positions, pay grade 5-6, and in information services, the reclassification of 1 network engineer, pay grade 8-9, to 1 PC technician, pay grade 7-8.
Okay, any discussion on the positions?
Well, just to note that the downgrade in the information services is because the position they require is gonna not need the pay that they had previously paid, so the taxpayers will be saving some money on that.
Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion.
I would make a motion.
Motion by our controller, second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you. This time we'll adjourn the salary board actions and we'll reconvene the Commissioners' public meeting.
Which takes us to personnel actions with Roxanne.
Commissioners, in the Controller's Office, Kelsey L. Dowling. This is an administrative change. She is a full-time replacement administrative specialist, pay grade 6, $16.76 an hour. Her starting date has been changed to 9/20/2021. At pre-release, Morgan Stone, full-time replacement.
Excuse me. Could you please take these individually?
Sure.
Okay, so we're on action item 5.1?
Right.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept?
I'll move to approve the position.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Okay. Passes 2-1 vote. Go ahead next.
At pre-release, Morgan Stone as a full-time replacement resident supervisor, pay grade 5, $15.37 an hour, effective September 27th, 2021.
Any motion, or any questions or comments? Got a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried 3-0.
At the prison, Rachel E. Fox is a full-time replacement LPN, pay grade 6, $23 an hour, effective October 4th, 2021.
Any comments or questions? Got a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
6.0, informational items. Maya Toon has one.
Hey, Maya.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm just acknowledging that the county's going to be re-requesting proposals for printing of absentee ballots and mail-in ballots for the voter services.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then moving on to action items, Maya Toon has 7.1 through 7.6. So I'll just let you
Yep.
present.
Okay, the first item I have is to acknowledge the award of additional or the second round of Emergency Rental Assistance Program funds, which is known as the ERAP-2 grant funds. It's in the amount of $2,361,659.35.
Okay, and I believe we have Rachel Abbott from STEP here.
Yep.
Could they come up to the podium, please?
Now we're, okay.
Yes. And then you can just stay up here for the other ones. Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I wanted to give everybody an update on the ERAP program. I do have, so our allocation for the ERAP 1 was $7,451,709.62. The expiration date on that is September 30th, 2022, so we are about 1 year. From that, we have spent $3,465,435.08. So we are, right around halfway from where we are at, and we just started this program in March. So I do feel like we will be completing the ERAP 1 allocation by next year. There is a potential on the state level if there is a higher need to request that, and so we can talk about that at some point, commissioners. The ERAP 2 is a little bit different in terms of its allocation. We have just over $2 million, and there is a special set aside, about $226,633.75 that are tied to high need cases, which those are individuals that are under that 50% of poverty rate. So right now, this is tied to 180%, is tied to 80% of the area median income. And so this is just for individuals who are extremely low income. I do not think that we will have an issue with this because what this does, the ERAP 2, basically allows us an additional 3 months. So if you remember, the ERAP 1 can go up to 15 months, and what the ERAP 2 does is extends that to the 18-month for an individual. So number of applications we've received, 1,424. We've completed 688. Those are all that have been completed and paid out. An additional 153 have been denied. Those have been denied mostly due to lack of information, and so we contact them. We have a set number of times that we contact them via email, phone, and letters. And if we don't receive any response, we actually have to deny them. But they are welcome to come back with that information. About a quarter of these, so about 40-ish, are actually over income. So individuals who brought in all their paperwork, but they are deemed over income due to that. And then we have 109 who are ready to be processed and going to eligibility. Those are ones we have complete applications on. So what I did instead of success stories today, because I gave you a bunch last time, was kind of in their own words. And so I asked customers from the ERAP program to give us a little bit of information about kind of what they felt about the program. And so I did just use their initials. You can read these in your spare time. If you want me to read them, I can read them now, whatever
Yeah,
you...
go ahead and read a few.
Okay.
Because they're very important. These are the people that have been helped.
Yep. This says, "Good morning, Amanda. It would be more than a pleasure to tell the county how awesome and helpful this program has been to my life. I use this cap button," it is in all caps, "on purpose because, to be honest with you, I would not be where I am without the program. With all the ups and downs the past 18 months of my life, this program has been what I call a blessing from God. This program has made me more aware of my finances, along with my spending habits, taught me to be more intentional in my daily living, period. And then bonus, wait for it, getting to work with you, someone who really cares. Thank you, Mrs. Long, and God bless." The this is another person. "The ERAP program has done more than help my family during this troubling time. Your program has given us a fresh start. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was worried we may never be able to catch up. Your program, in my words, saved us. I would like to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts, guardian angels, at least in my book." And I'll read one more. "Thank you so much, Amanda. You have helped my family out tremendously, and I can't be grateful enough on how you have thoroughly made sure everything was taken care of and in a timely manner. My family is so much less stressed at the moment during the pandemic, other than our sicknesses, that we have the moment that we wouldn't have to worry about being on the streets. Thank you again. You are wonderful. I can't say it enough." So just a couple, we have a ton more. I just kind of picked out a couple for the commissioners to have. In terms of people, we have provided the service to 967 adults and 808 children. So those are individuals within the household. And that's a tremendous amount of individuals that are part of that 688 applications. In terms of payees, we actually have, and I do have the list because I know the commissioners like that last time, we have over 300 about 300 payees at this point, and this is through August 31st. We try to do this on a monthly basis because it takes a little bit of time, so I can, got two copies.
Can you repeat those numbers on the
On the people?
Yeah, the 688 you said.
Yep, so that relates to 967 adults and 808 children.
It's a huge number of children.
Yep. And those are only from that 688 that we have fully processed. That's not including the 109 that are ready to process or the rest that are not even fully we have full applications on, which is the 500-ish. We are going to be hiring with that ERAP 2 another ERAP person just to be focused on that. ERAP 2 comes with different parameters and different reporting, and so we want to make sure that we're being accurate and attentive to all the details. And so we will have somebody that's just focused on ERAP 2. So essentially, if somebody comes back after they've completed the ERAP 1, they would just transfer right to the ERAP 2. So we're pretty excited about that.
And these monies are to help people that have been affected by COVID, people who've lost their jobs, people who've had their hours cut back. They've had to cut their hours back because of their kids, watching their kids who may have been home from school. And so our county was allocated $7.5 million, and initially it got off to a slow start. And I was concerned that we weren't going to be able to spend the monies that were allocated, that money would have to be returned. And fortunately, we see the money's being allocated to the purpose of what it's intended for. It's helped so many families, and STEP has done, you and your staff have done a tremendous job. I was on the STEP call yesterday with the board, and emphasize that to the people on the call that you've done a tremendous job with this, making sure that everybody has their T's crossed and their I's dotted. It's paid utilities,
Yep, it pays the water bills, PP&L bills, and the electric and gas. The electric is mostly PP&L, but we are seeing some kind of rural pieces. And I've actually been asked to speak about this program and our relationship with the utilities, with the Pennsylvania Energy Utility Association. So I'll be doing that in mid-October and talking to their association about how we've coordinated with the utilities on the program. We have a great relationship with PP&L. We're actually, through this, able to turn people on that day. So if someone calls with the shutoff, they have all the information, we're actually getting their electricity back on that same day. That's the type of relationship we have, which is amazing. And so, the same with the water. So we've been able to keep people's water on, and there's a lot of need in Lycoming County. When I was on with the deputy secretary, she thought our numbers were good, but she said, from our calculation, there could be up to 14,000. We're at 1,400. So I expect more applications to kind of come in over the next year and for us to continue to help individuals. I don't know that she had kind of whittled down the low-income apartments. I don't know if she was just looking at the total number of apartments, but we also are going to be starting the mortgage assistance program for Lycoming County, and that's in the non-entitlement communities, part of the CDBG, and we already we'll go through those funds very quickly because we already have a list of mortgage holders from this program that have been calling in. So I think it's a good opportunity to really support those affected. And there's a lot of people with long-term issues from COVID, health issues that, we're really trying to help them kind of stay afloat.
And thank you for working with the courts too, because
Yes,
there's a long eviction line process through the courts. There are landlords that just want to have their rent due, keep the people in their homes.
Yeah.
And by working with the courts, they can avoid those evictions.
Yes, and we are, I got my first list from one of the district judges. None of the individuals on the list were actually part of the program. So we are reaching out to those tenants and those landlords and going to see if they can come through the process, and that would definitely reduce their time kind of in that court system if they are willing to take the funds. And this does not, the ERAP 1, there is no obligation. If there is a tenant that is having issues, a landlord can still get them out. We're really trying to make the landlord whole. In the number 2, there is more of a hope that the landlord will keep them in at least for some period of time. But we definitely know there's individuals are typically some of them are being evicted for the non-paying of the rent. It's for other things, and that needs to
And
continue.
this program isn't intended for those who choose not to pay the rent.
Exactly, yep,
Right. We will make that very clear.
yep.
Michelle, can you give, not in terms of percent of the median income, but for a family of, say, a parent and a child, and then say a family of a mother and 2 or 3 children, what is the cutoff for income, for annual income? You said that a certain number were rejected because they were over, so what is that?
Yes, and it's on I did not bring the flyers. We actually have all the income on
Oh,
those
that's
ERAP
right.
flyers
Okay. Yeah.
on there, but like a family of 4, it's like $80,000. And
All right, so if a
so,
family of 4 is making $80,000 and they need help paying the rent, that's two people maybe making $40,000 each, or one
Yeah.
person, then they're eligible.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, that's not
Yeah.
that low.
Exactly.
I mean,
This is
it's-
what we're calling one of those unicorn, in my words,
Yeah.
programs. Like, we never see programs that have income this high.
Right.
Typically, it's not based on the area median income, it's based on the poverty level. And so the difference would be like a family of 4 on the poverty level would be like, I think it's 31,000.
Right.
So it's a big difference based on how you're looking at the numbers. And so this is the area median income. And on all the flyers and everything and on our website, and how people can apply is stepcorp.org/LICOrent. And so I know that I've given everybody those flyers. I gave a whole bunch to the court system. They were going to mail them to some landlords as well. But I do think we're having a good relationship with many of the landlords, given that we have, about 300 of them that we've been working with.
Yeah.
So you're right, it's definitely higher than pretty much all the programs we usually utilize.
I have a feeling that a lot of the folks in that income bracket may own a home, and
Mhm.
so they're not eligible. Now, the mortgage program will
Yes.
help them.
Yes.
I think that's probably why you're getting probably more folks at the lower end of the economic ladder, because they don't own homes, so they rent.
Yes. Yep. And the mortgage program, I think, like I said, we got 55,000 from Lycoming County. I think it's 28 from Montoursville Borough, and I might be wrong, 26 from Jersey Shore. But I do think we'll be spending that like within the next 6 months, because like I said, we have lists. And PHFA, the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, hasn't come out with their mortgage program yet. They plan to, but they haven't yet.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. I do have, and if you'd like to see it, just the demographics list, which also has kind of like gender, ethnicity, and those kind of things. Would you like to have a copy of that?
That'd be great.
Thank you.
And I do also have the under income one, and then the based on income based on arrears. So I'll give you these two. Pass them along. They're two different.
Oh,
Thank you.
they're different.
Yep.
Oh, they are? Make copies. Okay, any other comments or questions on action item 7.1? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. 7.2, aye.
The next item is just an amendment to the agreement with STEP to administer the ERAP 2 funds that encompasses both ERAP 1. There was an extension deadline given to those funds, and then ERAP 2, of course, of the additional funds.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you.
Mine has a duplication, I don't know if it's the same
Yeah.
one. Okay, so 7.3 is just a duplication.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I apologize.
7.4, it's to recommend to reject all proposals for printing of absentee ballots and mail-in ballots. So as I stated earlier, we're going to be requesting bids again for that service.
Could you give the public an explanation of why?
Sure. When we received the bid documents, there was concerns that some of them were incomplete. Others were completed. However, they were also not located within a jurisdiction that would make sense for us to make an award, but also that bidder that was the lowest also did not comply with all the requirements. So in order to make it fair and competitive to everyone, we are rejecting and going back out to bid, and also putting tighter specifications out as to gear, because what we had is we had companies in other states trying to do these mail-in ballots, and obviously, you know, that it's critical that we have someone within a close proximity of Harrisburg to allow for ensure timely delivery of such. So.
And I think it's very important to state that when we first came out with the mail-in ballots and we were looking for companies to print these, there were several of which we did our due diligence, you especially, and found out that the person that we did choose was very capable of meeting our needs. And some of those other companies, it was a catastrophe.
Yes.
And so obviously, as a commissioner, we have to take a look at that and make sure we do the right thing for our constituents. Again, it is something that's so very important.
Yeah.
And we need to have a company that we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's adequate to perform its duties.
And it's actually at a different level, you know, when we were doing this before COVID didn't hit, you know, so as part of COVID, we got so many more mail-in ballots, so it was so critical. So we had just found a vendor, and we did it under an emergency basis, because that's really what we were acting on. Now that we can plan a little bit better, and we foresee this kind of being our norm right now, given the current state of things, we're required to go out to bid. And again, you know, it's one of those things that you go out to bid and you think you have everything as tight as you can, but then there's always someone that brings something back that you didn't either think of, or that causes problem with the process. And that was kind of it, but the majority of it was, unfortunately, we just had a lot of non-compliance with the bid process, and you know, we need to make sure we tighten that up to make sure that everyone is submitting bids competitively, but also in accordance with what we needed them to do.
Does the bid document say something about being in the vicinity of Harrisburg?
It does now.
Is the solicitor on the phone? I suppose
He is aware of it. I
He is?
talked with Dave yesterday, because my concern is that you can't exclude people.
Right.
But what we can do is, we can't say that they have to be located in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but we can say they can be located within close proximity of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Well, we can or cannot?
Can.
We can. We can say they have to be within the
Because it's an
Commonwealth.
RFP process. So there's
Right.
other factors other than just bid costs that we're looking at in this
Uh-huh.
particular instance. If it were a bid document, then you're just strictly looking at cost.
Right.
But with RFP, we're looking at, you know, capability,
Right.
location,
Ability
all of
to
those things that would affect, you know, performance.
So we can say you have to be within the Commonwealth. Can we also say you have to be within the vicinity of?
No, we can't say they can't, they're excluded from Pennsylvania, because they may have like a warehouse
Right.
or something in, you know, close to Harrisburg. That would be deemed acceptable. So we can say, you have to be within close proximity, and we're trying to figure out, right now, Forrest and I was just getting off the phone with him, flies a little late, figuring out a radius that would be deemed acceptable. So I'm gonna put some kind of radius in there with mileage in there, so that we know what would be deemed acceptable location for those bidders.
And that means.
And Commissioner Mirabito,
Yeah.
excuse me, sir. Maya has it right. We've discussed the idea that I don't believe you can exclude bidders by saying you have to have a Pennsylvania location in terms of where you're producing this material. You can certainly produce it out of state, but we need to have a facility, as Maya pointed out, within a certain range of Harrisburg to ensure delivery to the post office there. And it can be a storage facility or a production facility, but there needs to be a facility within some reasonable proximity of Harrisburg. I think that's what Maya and Forrest are working on right now.
Okay. What about if I produced it in Ohio, but I shipped it by truck to the Harrisburg post office? Would that suffice?
I think the concern is that
Delay.
Oh, that's
again, that's
Yeah.
Truck could
a
get hit by a
discretionary,
tree.
Yeah.
it's a discretionary thing, but we want to have some facility within the Harrisburg radius to ensure that delivery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maya, how does this affect this election? We have an election in 6 weeks.
That one's fine. This is the one for moving out in May.
May 2022.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, so we have time.
thank you.
Obviously, if this were the one coming up,
Be an issue.
yes, absolutely. But we knew this was coming last year. When we went out to bid, this was something that was kind of both on Forrest and I's radar, that we knew we had to go out to bid. So we did planning ahead in accordance with everything that he was dealing with.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'll move to reject all proposals.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So carried.
And then the next item, I would just ask that we postpone for another date. The only reason why I state that is that I had conversation with both CEDACOG, and I'm working with the solicitor. As you recall, we had a meeting discussing the procurement process. That's still being reviewed, and I don't want to have us enter into something until we squared that away and make sure that all parties are comfortable.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
You want to table it?
Yeah, make a motion to
I'll move
table.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's hereby tabled. Okay,
All right, thank you, Commissioners.
thank you.
Oh, I guess I have one more, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more. The next item is to award the invitation to bid for flood mitigation, acquisition, and demolition project to Smart Recycling Incorporated. There were two bidders, Steinbacher Enterprises and SRI came back as the lowest bidder. So this is a new company that we are dealing with, but they came in considerably lower than that of Steinbacher.
Okay, questions?
No, I didn't get the details yet, but I had an alert come up from the waters of the U.S. The National Federation of Independent Businesses sent out an alert to say that the federal government is proposing that any land that is going to have any work done to it and on the stream banks, waterways, would need a federal permit. Currently, we do not have used federal permits. So I bring this up only because the NFIB will be suing the federal government to protect our freedoms, our rights. And that's just not that. It's the fact that it may take 9 months to a year
Yeah, to get a permit.
to get a permit.
Mhm.
And that's just one.
Yeah, I mean, we have problems just now with local permits, even getting those. So
So-
I can't imagine.
So this is a program that could be significantly affected by
Sure,
a federal permit.
sure. Yeah, you know, and it's unfortunate because especially with these funds, there's sometimes a tight window on them, and they just take time. They're just things that you can't go out and demolish, you know, properties because it's weather dependent and all those other factors. So it makes it very difficult sometimes, and a lot of these companies are under tight deadlines and they have other jobs, and, you know, so great funds to have, but also stressful funds to have
Right.
because, like I said, they have to be expended in a certain time frame.
Okay. Any other comments? A motion to accept.
I'll move to.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maya.
7.7, Mark Anderson, voting on contract with McCormick Law Firm.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am just here today to seek approval on my extension of my solicitor for the Department of Tax Claim. We're looking to make it a 3-year agreement so that we don't do this on a yearly basis.
Comments?
I'd just like to point out, we appreciate the law firm, their expertise, and holding the line on the cost per hour of this contract.
Motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
7.8, Jason Yorks is on the line. This is to vote on the purchase of the 2015 Cat water truck. Jason?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Jason.
Commissioners, before you for approval is a 2015 Cat water truck in the amount of $239,000. That is purchased through the Sourcewell purchasing program that Cat's able to work through with used equipment. This water truck is a budgeted item for 2021. This truck, as we had showed you, Commissioners, when you were over for a tour, we showed you how we use it. This is an off-road haul truck chassis water truck that we'll be using. And as we already discussed this morning about the positions, we will be doing an extensive amount of dirt screening, excavating, and we need to always control the dust. Well, we're not allowed to have dust out onto the road and so forth. So when the days are dry, which a couple days aren't so here at the landfill, but when days are dry, we have to keep watering the roads. Just about once an hour, once every hour and a half, we have to have guys go around and watering the roads to keep the dust down. So for you, this is what we've looked. To us, this is the best buy versus a new one, which is in the $450,000 range, and availability is pretty much non-existent. So seeking your approval, sir.
So just so the public can understand that this is, like you see water trucks driving down the highway from the gas industry and so forth. That's not what this is. This almost looks like a water tank on top of a piece of construction equipment that is built to deal with waste in a landfill. It's on a different type of chassis. It is a very sturdy and massive piece of equipment. In fact, when I saw it, I thought, geez, it doesn't even look like a water truck. So at first, if you recall, gentlemen, we were reluctant. We asked them to go back and shake some money loose, and then we went down and looked at it. And of course, this is paid from the revenue of the landfill, not the taxpayers' dollars. But I think that, having seen it, I think that I understand now why we need that and not a traditional one. The acids and the other leachate that's in the landfill would just eat that alive.
Okay, any comments?
So the public understands that we, are prudent in what we do.
And Jason, the dirt, is that a regulation by the state?
Yeah, we
The
can't
dust?
we're not allowed to have dirt out on the road. We'll hear what we call NOV violations if we have dust going out, dust clouds. I mean, you're creating a serious safety hazard by putting nothing but dust out on Route 15 with all the traffic. So yeah, we have to maintain keep the roads clean and keep them dust free. That's part of our permit.
And we know the traffic's increasing on Route 15, and will be increasing in years to come. We don't want unsafe conditions, that's for sure. Okay. Have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Commissioners, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
7.9 and 7.10, Ken George.
Morning, Ken.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first one in front of you is with Smith's Detection. They are offering a maintenance agreement for our X-ray machine in front of the courthouse, and that will be all labor parts and inspections. It goes out to 5 years, but we will be able to terminate it with a 30-day notice at any point.
And like you stated, this is a 5-year agreement.
Correct, yes.
This is the one we talked about shortening, but with the 30-day notice.
Okay. And they are guaranteeing they can supply parts.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right, motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
And the second before you for approval is with Robinson Concrete. It's to repair the vault at the rear of the courthouse. The metal grate framing has failed, so it has to be tore out. new framing put in and reconcreted.
Where did it fail, Mr. Joe?
What's that?
I'm sorry, where did the concrete fail?
The rear of the courthouse?
Oh, the rear of the courthouse.
Correct.
Okay.
Where the sheriff's parked the transport van.
Okay.
It's our vault for our generator for the basement of the courthouse. It's the cooling area for it.
Right.
So it's just a great big hall.
Right.
Okay.
When are they gonna pull that?
As soon as we can get them here.
Okay, oh, did you just find that it,
Yeah, it failed about a month ago, and we've been trying to get prices and quotes and
Right.
so forth. So as soon as we get this, you guys approve this, we can move out on hopefully getting repaired and getting the sheriff's parking area back to unload prisoners and so forth.
Are we exiting out there? Is that why they're?
No, they're doing doing work on the vault for the PP&L. They're putting drain lines in.
Okay.
Okay. Have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7.11, Nancy Ackley, voting on agreement with Center County Youth Services.
Morning, Nancy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Actually, please ignore the 2013-14 and number 1.
Okay.
Should be 21-22.
Wait, it says 21. Oh, renewal.
Yeah. Whoops, I missed that. Good morning, Commissioners. Juvenile Probation is asking for your approval for our renewal with Center County Youth Services Bureau. They have a group home, residential, and independent living. They also have a foster care component that we use. That's one of the main reasons why we're trying to use that one too, and the IL. They still have Storm Break Youth Program. That's a 4.6 increase, $10 a day. And the IL program, there was no rate change.
Really, what, any kids up there?
Not right now, no. It's probably been a couple of years since we've used it. We like to keep it handy just in case, yeah.
As needed, okay. Have a motion to accept.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7.12 through 7.14 is Kristen McLaughlin, and she's on the line. Kristen?
Morning, Kristen.
Morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. 7.12 is the subrecipient agreement for the Center for Independent Living. This is the FFY 2018 project, and this is to put a rooftop air conditioning unit on the, well, obviously on the roof. Their air conditioning system is difficult to work with right now and pretty much non-functional. We had hoped to be able to get it done this summer, but that obviously didn't happen, but we should be able to get it up and running no problem before next year. 7.13 is a budget revision. This is to move $659.77 from the Ralston generator acquisition project, which is complete and was completed under budget, and that money will go to the Montgomery lateral reconstruction project. We have one last lateral to reconstruct under that Montgomery project, and there's a $659.77 budget shortfall, so this is a perfect place to move that. And then the final one is a CDBG procurement policy update based on the 2 CFR 200 and some other small changes to your current one.
Okay, any questions or comments on any of the action items 7.12 through 7.14? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the slate as a whole?
I'll move to approve the 3 items described by Ms. McLaughlin.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
7.15 is Director McDermott to vote on the appointment for the Airport Authority for Krista Paternostra.
Commissioners, seeking your approval on the appointment of Krista Paternostro Power to the Airport Authority. I think you'll recall from her application, she brings a wealth of experience that would benefit the authority.
Yes, we are very excited to have Ms. Bauer join the Airport Authority. I think, actually, she is the only female on the Airport Authority, and we're excited to have a diversity of viewpoints there. She has a wealth of experience in business and in nonprofits and in all sorts of marketing and all sorts of ways that we think is going to be helpful. Her father, Tom Paternostro, some may know, was very active in the community and in the school district, and we're just so pleased that she's taken the time to do this. So we welcome her. She's not here today, but we welcome her to the Airport Authority, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes.
Yeah, if she will be a welcome addition. Her resume was incredible.
Yeah.
So at a time when we need all the expertise we can find on boards, and especially the Airport Authority, and they're doing their best right now to try to lure another airline into our region. She will be a nice addition.
Okay. Motion?
I'll move to approve the appointment of Ms. Paternostro Boyer to the Airport Authority Board.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Commissioner comment?
I just have a correction.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a lot of things remembered, and now I have my cheat sheet. So a family of 4 at 80% of the area median income is $51,900. So I
Okay.
think I goofed up and told you the wrong number. I said 81, I'm sorry.
No,
So
that's
I wanted to
okay.
Make sure I cleared that
Yeah,
up.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because
51,000?
Yeah,
51,900, which is still
51,900.
pretty high,
Yeah.
you know, for a family of 4, for sure. And because, like I said, the family of 4 for the area median, or the poverty rate is like, 28 to 31. So
Yeah.
I have my cheat sheet now, so
Okay.
I wanted to just make sure I had that correct.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Michelle.
you, thank you, and we don't hold it against you. But I hope you didn't have to sit through the rest of the meeting to tell us. You could have.
I wanted to make sure I told you.
No, you needed to tell us. Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Any commissioners comment?
Today is September 21st, and it is International Peace Day. And it's recognized by the United Nations as International Peace Day. I actually wanted to prepare a proclamation, but I was unable to do that in a timely manner. But why do I raise that? I raise that because the best way, I believe, or one of the ways that we can honor our veterans and people who have fought, is to maintain the peace. And if you think about it, whether it's on a personal level, even with our spouses or our significant others or our children, it's always that things escalate. And it happens also in our relationships between countries. Things escalate, and then before you know it, things happen. And you've talked about this, Commissioner Metzger, in many of your prayers about the need to try to find a way to love each other, or at the very least to try to maintain peace with each other. The theme for International Peace this year is, quote, recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. And I thought it was interesting that Ms. Abbott was here from STEP, because that's ultimately taxpayer money that Ms. Abbott talked about from STEP, that it's taxpayers contributing to other people to help them through a difficult time, to help them recover in a way that's equitable and sustainable. Because it's obviously to all of our benefit to have families not spiral downward, lose their housing, then lose their job, and before you know it, we have some really serious problems. So anyway, I just wanted to let people know it is International Peace Day. There is a monument in our community by the Fellowship Church, across from the Fellowship Church, where the parking lot is that's used for for the farmer's market. There's a peace monument there that was,
Next to Pine Street, Lady Methodist Church.
yes, and it was placed there by Dr.
Usui.
Dr. Usui. Thank you.
Him and his wife.
Yep.
Beautiful monument.
It's a beautiful monument, and I would urge you to walk by and reflect on it today. So maybe next year we'll be able to get a proclamation for International Peace Day.
Okay,
Thank you, that's my comment.
All right. Commissioner, anything? Okay. Any public comment from the audience? Yes. State your name when you come up to the podium, please. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Bill Fenderson from Linden, and today is sort of a different day. I haven't been here for a number of months, over a year. And one of the things that's interesting is going on throughout all the communities, and basically the knack for not being informed what's going on throughout the county. And with everything that's in the works today, we have new industry coming to town, projection rates, what their projection, when they're going to be built, road construction going on throughout the county. And again, also the American Rescue Plan, the funding. That, I sit on many committees with this. We're trying to understand why everyone's taking a back seat with all this money. This money has been allocated to put things in place to use for public safety and other avenues. As of this date, I have heard nothing from anyone other than the people who own businesses, how they want to use the money. I think, in all honesty, I would like to see committees of members in Lycoming County have an opportunity to sit down and talk about different areas that we need to have improvements on. And the biggest one is transportation. We discussed this a lot of times, that in the PHAI, which I'm involved with, we're looking for people who have different medical problems, need to have the opportunity to have transportation. Family members are not around to get to and from. Now, take this with a grain of salt, if you may, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but if you have a medical emergency at 8:30 in the morning, you call the doctor, and you're by yourself, and you need to get a ride. Who do you call? There's no one available. If you call the Office of the Aging, check me if I'm correct or wrong about this, it takes what, 1 to 2 days to get an appointment for a bus?
Yep, you have to do 24-hour reservations.
So at that
But
given...
we do have day service if there is an emergency.
Okay, but how far does that bus take the people?
As far as they need, it's a door-to-door.
Is that set in stone?
Yep, so we take people down to Harrisburg, we take people down to Hershey, we have State College, Bellefonte, based on wherever they need to go for their medical appointment.
Well, if I may correct this question for you, with that being said, how come the general public don't know about this?
I don't know why the general, we do a lot of publicity about it, we do a lot of those kind of things, so.
I understand this, but I'm not picking on anybody.
Okay.
What happens is, a lot of the older people don't have internet access. A lot of them don't understand what's going on, who to call, how to word it, and what can I do.
So one of the things that we are doing is doing billboards, and so those are going to be starting here in the next, starting actually next month until the end of the year. And then we have been doing a significant amount of information in the Web Weekly, so if you haven't seen those with our Office of Aging, to try to get the word out even more, because with the pandemic, it's been hard to, because we don't have as many people in our centers, but now our centers are open, so.
Well, that's correct. The reason I'm saying that to you is fully invested in the centers. Okay, that's another story for another time. But what I'm asking is, say these people don't drive. Say these people can't get out of their house, and you're saying billboards. Your website's great, because I'm on the website all the time. I would have to tell you 65% of seniors in this area, maybe 70%, do not have internet access. They don't have any way to get it. There has to be a better way to do things.
Yeah, but everybody gets a web weekly, right?
They sum up the postal department again. I get one maybe once a month.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I get mine once
The
a week.
the
and so
postal
they're trying
service,
to
in the postal service in rural areas, you do not receive not only your mail. I have filed many petitions with the postal service over this, but and Mr. Webb himself, I talked to Mr. Webb numerous times. But that's a little off course on this. But to go back to this American Rescue Plan, has anyone ever thought about putting committees together to get their input, how to use the money?
Well, can we just, let me just give you a little info, because.
Sure.
So when we first heard about the money, I think we kind of thought, oh, we're gonna be able to get something together by September and get it done. And then we realized that, first of all, we didn't have to rush.
No.
Because we didn't have to make a decision until 2022, and we didn't have to spend the money until 2024. But also, the nature of the problems were so complicated that it would be virtually impossible for us to have gotten it together. But that was okay. That was our enthusiasm. So what we have been doing, Bill, just so you understand, is that we've been meeting with various groups of people who are involved on various topics. So, for example, we have met with water and sewer authorities.
We met with the township supervisors, the mayors, the boroughs. We had 3 meetings. We had about half of the municipalities here on those 3 meetings. The next step is we'll meet with the municipalities, or excuse me, the water and sewer authorities next for the infrastructure throughout the county. The Realtors Association, because we have a housing crisis in the county, along with the nation right now.
Yes.
We are, the average homes for sale in Lycoming County is about 600 homes. We're down under 200, so we have to look at attainable homes, whether they be older homes that are fixed up or newer construction. We're going to be speaking with the conservation, with the farmers. So we're hitting different areas and talking to those populations that can assist us in developing a plan moving forward with these monies. It's $22 million over a 2-year period. We're not going to spend it foolishly, and we're going to meet with the people that we need to spend it wisely, and we're not going to rush this process.
No, wait, but having said, Mr. Fenderson, what you said, we can hold public meetings with the general public, and we can either do it by Zoom, because it is going to be hard as the pandemic worsens.
It is, yes.
But just so you know also, so for example, STEP is part of the early learning.
Yes.
We've asked them to prepare a report to the commissioners on the state of early learning in the county.
Yes.
With regard to some of that money that can be spent on human capital.
Yes.
And they're preparing that report, and they're going to get that report to the commissioners. So we are doing things, but it's hard to hold public meetings with the pandemic and so forth. So, I mean, I just want to tell you that we're not, yeah.
Go ahead. Hang on a second, he's on the floor right now.
The only thing is it goes live. Yeah.
Right, and I want her to come up and say her statement after he's done.
Yeah.
So go ahead, finish up, please.
I'll finish up real quick here.
Yes.
And I would like to see updates on a weekly basis, where we're going with it. For instance, I know you can't put it down hard tax, but if you would look at the county website and diagnose that thing, which I read every day, all the information's there. And I don't want to push this covert thing the wrong way or the rough way. It says on there certain things the CDC said on August the 5th, that all indoor facilities be wearing a mask. With our numbers going up, and believe me, they're going right to the roof. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity to be in the courthouse about 3 weeks ago, and I was shell-shocked. No one had a mask in there. That building, for some reason, they should have a mask on. No one had a mask on. It's consistency. But with that being said, that website's very institutional. If you take your time and read it, you can find all the information. Are we following the information we put out there? It says the total numbers for 14 days. And like I said, August the 5th, CDC recommended we wear a mask indoors. Is that a problem? that we do that, with our accounts being so high.
Well, there's an
Are you asking
alarming,
us
there's an
that, Rick?
alarming
Yes.
article in the
That's what-
paper today that says that Lycoming County is in the
I mean,
five.
I'm not frying anybody here, I'm just
No,
trying,
no,
I'm just
no.
trying to understand.
Yeah, we have a COVID committee that we've had in the past. We discontinued them about a month and a half ago.
Mhm.
We are in regular contact with our safety director, which is Jeff Hutchins.
I know who he is, yeah.
At this point, that has not been discussed. It could be discussed if the numbers continue to rise. The pandemic is much different than it was a year ago. It's much different.
It's a
We have
different-
treatments.
yeah.
We have, we know a lot more about COVID than we did a year ago.
Yes.
So there's a lot of controversy on the mask. So are we avoiding anything? No, we're not avoiding it. It's discussed on a regular basis.
Okay.
It's just not discussed in the committee like we did in the past.
Right.
If it continues to worsen, then, and we see the hospitalizations go up, but listen, we're getting a mixed message sent. Okay, when you open up the southern border and you let immigration come across the line, and you tell those individuals they do not have to wear a mask, you do not have to be vaccinated, and then you bring them through the 50 states and let them live, and then you tell a kid he has to wear a mask in school, when you have sporting events that have 105,000 people with no mask on, there's a mixed message going on across this country.
This is the reason I don't like to bring stuff up to commissioners.
Right.
Because the commissioners have their own thought. Let's put politics.
It's not my own
No,
thought.
no, no, no,
It's
no.
a fact.
Listen.
That is a
stop.
fact, Bill.
I
I'm not
don't-
going to gauge. It's just public comment.
Yeah.
You asked me a question, so go ahead and say your comment.
Okay.
And you're past the limit, so please wind up your comments.
You know something, to me, from what I just said, or what you just said, we're going, instead of doing frontwards, we're going backwards. And I'll take one quick comment. 3 weeks ago on the online, and I'm not picking on you, Tony. I asked a question about the airport.
What?
The airport. And you said, he must want to travel. That's a report.
What?
Yeah. He said, he must want to travel. That's what you exactly told me. I have it in writing. With that being said, thank you
Before
so
you
much.
step down, Mr. Fenderson, there was another county that did some sort of survey on what the public thought about the using of the funds, and I can't remember which county it was.
Montgomery
And-
County.
Which one?
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County, yeah. And maybe there's a way for us to engage. The point is that we want to try to engage the public. We've been going to different organizations to engage the public. You bring up a good point, which is that maybe we ought to try to hear directly from some people, because obviously people who work in different organizations have their perspective that's shaped from being in the organization. And it wouldn't hurt us to try to find a way to get directly from the people. Certainly, we'll put it out there right now for the public. Please contact us. You can send an email. Tell us how you think the ARP fund should be used. But understand that it isn't just a free-for-all. We can't use them just for anything we want. And you can go online on Google and you can put in how can ARP funds be used, and you can understand a little bit about how they can be used, what they can be used for. But it's certainly a legitimate question to try to see if we can't get the public engaged.
And I apologize for taking over my time, really
No, that's
apologize.
fine.
No,
And I
that's okay.
apologize
Thank you
my-
for taking the time
I
to come to
appreciate
the
you being
meeting.
here.
Yes, listen, I apologize for my phone ringing. Unfortunately, we have
That's
some
okay.
medical problems going on right now.
It's okay.
But it's something that, I'm just curious, the most important thing is to have updates. Maybe be on a 2-week notice where we're projecting to go with everything.
Yeah, before you leave, I want to ask Rochelle. Rochelle, could you
Yeah,
come up?
please.
Because
She wanted to
she
make-
may be able to
She
help
wanted
us.
to make a statement. so-
Yeah, but I also want to ask her a question. So, Rochelle, if someone is a senior and they need transportation, of course, it's the medical transportation that we talk about often.
Yep,
and you can
medical
call.
assistance transportation.
All right,
Yep.
and if someone is disabled, they're going to be able to get it. What if I'm not
Yeah.
a senior and I'm not disabled and I
Yeah.
don't drive?
Yep.
And I have a medical emergency, not an ambulance. Obviously, if you need an ambulance, you call 911. But if I have a medical appointment, who do I call?
So are they on medical assistance transportation? And so that's the question. Do they have an MA card, medical assistance card? If they have an MA card, we can take them anywhere they need to go.
Okay.
We've really focused to actually move a lot of our people to doctors and facilities local.
Yeah.
over the last few years, which I think has been amazing. And so that's where they would go. If an individual is a senior, we could take them even if they don't have a medical card.
Right. What if they
typically-
don't have a medical card,
Yep.
okay, and they're not a senior and they're not disabled?
Yes.
But they don't drive. And
So-
maybe they're unemployed right now because they lost their job through the pandemic.
So we
I'm thinking
do-
of a 35-year-old male or female who is not on medical assistance. They've got,
Yep. So I think, River Valley Transit is an option there,
Okay.
and Step Transportation is a public ride provider, and so we can, as long as somebody gives us a 24-hour notice. The problem is that you would not be able to have any of the fees associated with our shared ride service taken care of. And so a one-way route is much more expensive, just flat out without any sponsorship, than if you would take River Valley Transit. And so I think that's the pieces. Now, we do have a partnership with UPMC, and so they actually will call us and sponsor rides for individuals who need to get to and from appointments or who are discharged from medical pieces. We started that a few years ago, and that's been going wonderfully. And so they actually will call us and say, Jane's leaving the hospital at 2 o'clock, can you be here? And these are same-day things. So we're taking a vehicle, picking her up, and so they don't have to use an ambulance to take Jane home.
right.
And so we are doing those kind of things. Or they're calling and saying such and such called us, they don't have a ride to their appointment, we'll pick up the charge essentially, can you take us there? And we are also doing that with Geisinger.
So, and I just wanted, Mr. Fenderson, because I think you raised an important point, but so part of it is people have to engage also, right? I mean, in other words, she raised an interesting point about the Web Weekly. It goes to almost every household in the county. And at least if you look at it, you can find telephone numbers and so forth. If someone is not able to engage, there may be other things going on having to do with depression or with mental health issues. I mean, in other words, if someone is so far withdrawn that they can't, in that case, obviously we can try to get help through the MH at the joinder and provide services and so forth. And once they do an evaluation for the person and determine the person is in fact in need of services, they will work with the person on transportation because they may in fact be able to get on to the medical assistance at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
People who just don't know also will call our office because we do that holistic approach.
Yeah.
So we do an assessment with them, and the first question we ask is, do you have transportation? We work that out if there's other issues. And so, we've worked them out with Uber. We've done some things like that. We've done whatever we can. But on the ARP funds, I just wanted to make a note. The county has done 2 very public processes that can really help be the game plan for those $22 million. The first is the comprehensive plan.
Right.
There was tons of people that were engaged in that, which really kind of provides a good foundation for it. And then the needs assessment, so that there was 2 different needs assessments done, the one that was at the height of the pandemic in April 2020, and then we are finishing up, it's been kind of chaos, so we're working on finishing it up, and I hope to have it by the end of the year, like the one that we did for our 3-year, which we had a ton of people help us with. So just general out in the community, we had community surveys, we inquired about from individuals. So those 2 things I think can really be a resource. So that's what I was just going to add to the conversation is those 2 plans, had a lot of public engagement in them.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That the comp plan and the needs assessment is available on the STEP website.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it sort of gives us the state of the county. The other thing is that Penn State, I was on a phone call the other night with Penn State Extension, and Penn State does a county by county, Penn State Extension does a county by county analysis, and it's actually very useful to look at because they incorporate not just the census data, but they incorporate many, many issues that could help us understand the needs in the county.
Yes, and UPMC actually does a health needs assessment on a 3-year basis. I have not heard when that's going to be coming out, but that should be on the same time frame as our needs assessment. And that is very specific things like, as medical related, looking at doctors and looking at different pieces. And so I would say that's another great resource too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fenderson, thank you for coming, because I dare say that if you hadn't come, we wouldn't have talked about many of the issues that we talked about.
I'm not getting on anyone's case.
No.
No, we're not
Listen,
saying
see,
that.
here's the
Yeah.
problem, you know, it's been a long time and a lot of stuff going, a lot of moving parts.
Right.
And it's tough to understand. The general public has no idea what goes on in this building. To tell you the truth, there's nothing to that. This is what I was referring to right here. You want to take a look at that right here. You read that right there.
Access to transportation is crucial
Is it
to
there?
accessibility.
So I can talk to him.
Okay, this is the Pennsylvania, go ahead, yeah, this is the Pennsylvania Health Access Network. Here, is this an extra copy?
Yes.
Okay, so he's pointing to the access to transportation is crucial to accessibility, and basically, this is in rural Pennsylvania, and he's talking about the fact that if you can't get to the medical providers, it's hard, and so it is. It's a valid issue, and I was really glad that Ms. Abbott was able to explain a little bit. The really difficult one, Mr. Fenderson, is for people who are not disabled, not
Right.
not on medical assistance, you know, and don't drive or don't.
I just want to, before we close, I want to go back to the statement I made. COVID is very serious. We know that. It's taken way too many lives. Way too many lives. But shaming people is not going to get anyone any closer to getting things done. And there's a lot of shaming going on right now with I can't believe that person's not wearing a mask. I can't believe that person's not vaccinated. Okay, it is a choice. It is a choice whether a person wants to wear this or not. It's a choice whether they want to get vaccinated or not. And that's where we stand at this time. Okay, there's too many things going on right now where you see a Met Gala with politicians at it with no mask, and they're preaching mask. We have sporting events across the country where there's no mask. You see the federal government has to get vaccinated, except for the post office and Congress. So when you see things like that going on, you can see why the public is skeptical and hesitant in moving forward.
If I may intervene on one thing, what
Yeah.
you just said, it's critical that people understand. My son works for the government. He actually functions, he runs NOAA, the weather service throughout the United States and around the world, all satellites. They had a mandate, no vaccine, no work. Their contractors, who are not employed by the government, they were told, you don't enter the building without a vaccination card. No card, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind that, because unfortunately, most of them are younger, and it's, who knows how it spreads? No one knows today how it spreads. But to dwell on this is not a good way to dwell on things. And Scott, I have to agree with you on a lot of stuff. It's a tough situation out there.
Yes, it is.
It's very complicated to understand which way to turn, which way to go. And the biggest problem is there's too many people pulling strings.
No.
And that's not the way to go. Being you people who are elected to run the county, I feel that the county technically should have the final note, how things are being done throughout the county. Even though the township, the boroughs have their own elected people, they should bring out certain things to the county to make sure that we're on the same path. May it be fire protection, the size of the buildings, the structures that are being vacated. You know, different areas like that. I mean, it's a tough commodity to do that stuff.
So we'll continue to encourage people to consult with their physician, their doctor, and make their own choice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Okay.
your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Krista?
Three real quick things. First, your appointment to the airport authority. You are getting an amazing person. First, she has a really great name. But when her father was alive, they started a foundation. They lost his daughter, her sister, to cancer. And they help families who face cancer. They helped us when Olivia faced cancer, and they are helping at the breast cancer clinic with spa and wellness treatments for women going through cancer. And it's quiet, but it's in the community, and it's utterly amazing. She runs races in memory of her sister, so she is an amazing woman.
professionally, personally, so I just wanted to kind of bring attention to the fact of what they bring to the community on a philanthropic level as well. And on the peace note that Rick brought up, I wanted to call attention to Lions Clubs International. Every year they do a peace poster contest for 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, and I don't know off the top of my head if any local clubs are doing it, but the theme for the 2021-2022 year are We Are All Connected. While overcoming new challenges brought on by an unprecedented global pandemic, we're celebrating the things that keep us connected to each other, to our communities, all together around the world. This year we invite young people to envision, explore, and visually express these connections. So I just thought it was relevant with what you brought up today. Lastly, in regards to item 5.1, I would again remind the board section 1620 of County Code, which states the commissioners have no authority over the hiring, discharging, and supervising rights and obligations with respect to employees of the judges or other county officers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, meeting is adjourned. We will meet back here on September 28th at 10 a.m. Thank you. Have a great day.
So, did you want this back? Yeah, I need to.
I'm sorry, you could, yeah, I want to give you guys, I just want someone to have this, show that they. Well, we have, you have one.
Yes.
You have one. Scott, can you make a copy of this? You're not, oh, no, you have it, okay, I'll take it. Yeah, you can keep this.
That's just a blueprint, what
Right, what the hell, yeah, I actually.
What was that comment about the airport? What happened was,
Contact
I
information?
think he was here by
Nothing's
himself.
changed, but I'll give it to you again.
Timing.
Do you want office and stuff? Allergies. Oh, it's terrible.
The meeting was going.
What's that leak?
Cell is like.
Oh,
here.
Yeah.
Oh, a public meeting.
Yeah, just go down to your order, and you came back and said, well, you must want to travel.
Oh, is that back?
Yeah.
And there's an advocacy contract I have, so if you want to go real broad with deep
Took a lot on my
information,
shoulder.
I can connect you with her, but I also have
What's bad about it?
information from